welcome to RMU Live. I'm Nate Kingston.
And I'm K01, and this week we have some great updates and stories coming your way. Nate, I'm sure everyone is ready to hear some news, so let's get right on into it. On October 8th, the Israeli government declared that it was at war with Hamas. The fight in
After more than 48 hours of fighting, Israel's military says it has retaken control of all communities around Gaza. On the ground, Israeli troops work to secure the breach points where Hamas fighters cross the border.
It's taking us more time as we expected to get things back into a sort of defensive security posture of people coming in and also defending the communities.
While from the air, Israel pounds Gaza with strikes it says are aimed at Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad targets. But scores of women and children have been killed, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry.
We are at war with Hamas, and sadly, there might be people that are involved killed. It won't be intentional, and sadly, Hamas have entrenched themselves in a cynical way within the civilian population.
Disturbing new videos from Hamas's attack on a music festival show the extent of the terror. Fighters shooting at a hostage at close range. A woman is led away. Her fate is unknown. Hamas claims it is holding more than 100 hostages.
But this was a completely different attack that nobody was prepared for, and nobody can ever be prepared for such a thing, I guess.
The unprecedented attack shaking the international community. Two senior officials say the U.S. State and Defense Departments are moving as quickly as they can to deliver weapons to Israel as part of already existing contracts.
President Biden's direction was to make sure that we're providing Israel everything it needs in this moment to deal with the attacks from Hamas.
The fight in Israel has grown more intense that Israelis living overseas are returning for the fight.
At a military base in southern Israel, columns of Israeli Merkava 4 tanks stand at the ready, awaiting orders for an invasion of Gaza that everyone expects, but no one has yet commanded. This is a country on a war footing.
The Israeli military has called up more than 300,000 reservists. It is one of the largest mobilization efforts in this country's history. And this right here behind me is that mobilization effort in action. You are witnessing thousands of reservists, Israelis from all across the country, coming to this military base in southern Israel to begin to prepare for the next phase of this military campaign.
But it's not just the scale that makes this mobilization different.
I've been in all the campaigns in the last 30 years. Never something like this.
For the soldiers converging on this base, the shocking brutality of Hamas's surprise terrorist attacks is still reverberating.
Every person in Israel has lost someone. Every person.
Been in Amsterdam till Wednesday morning, till Monday morning. I came here, to enlist to the army and to fight those bastards.
It's a very emotional moment.
A very emotional moment, yes. When you see children die and kidnapping, it's like an animal. It's not.
Driving down roads east of the Gaza Strip, preparations for the next phase of Israel's military campaign are everywhere. Trucks loaded with ammunition, armored vehicles, thousands of Israeli soldiers mobilizing, and just 7 miles from the Gaza border, this formation of armored personnel carriers.
We are about a dozen kilometers from the Gaza border, about 6 or 7 miles, and what we are seeing here are the preparations for what many people in Israel believe is going to happen next, and that is the possibility of a ground invasion. You can see here armored personnel carriers, perhaps nearly 24 of those, as well as trucks, and you see soldiers all here preparing for the next phase of this war.
But amid the preparations for tomorrow's battle, today's is still very much alive.
As the days come, the Israeli army is forming a ground invasion of Gaza and is expected to do so soon. As a result of the deadly attacks in Israel, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro ordered the lowering of United States and Commonwealth flags to fly at half-staff until October 13th. This will apply to all Commonwealth facilities, public buildings, and grounds for a cause to honor the lives lost. Governor Shapiro said, quote, "I condemn the horrific acts of war in Israel by Hamas and their enablers. These attacks on innocent Israeli civilians are abhorrent and warrant world condemnation and outrage," end quote. Shapiro joined several United States politicians who have released statements condemning the attacks and showing support for Israel.
President Biden has called the attacks pure, unadulterated evil. Biden has expressed full support of Israel in the wake of what he and officials describe as terrorist attacks. Biden has already sent aid to Israel and will soon be sending military systems to replenish the Iron Dome, the Israeli air defense system. Biden confirmed that there were United States citizens among the hostages being held by Hamas, but a number was not stated. He also ordered his team to work with Israel in hostage recovery efforts. In a message to other nations, Biden said to anyone thinking of taking advantage of the situation, I have one word, don't. The United States government still does not have a House Speaker, leaving looming questions on how the U.S. will continue support of Ukraine and now Israel.
Kevin McCarthy began his Monday news conference talking about helping Israel.
Now is the time for action.
He said the same on his social media account, but the House can't act on anything until it finds his replacement.
To those who thought it was a good idea to throw over the Speaker, please reevaluate.
Interim House Speaker Patrick McHenry also posted his support for Israel, though his power is limited to overseeing a new Speaker election. So while some House members are circulating a pro-Israel resolution, it is stuck in limbo with no leader.
First thing I would put on the floor is the resolution on Israel.
House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan is running for Speaker, as is House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. They're meeting behind closed doors, trying to get support, but there's no indication either has the 217 votes needed to win. Some speculate the former Speaker could reclaim his position, a long shot he hasn't ruled out.
The conference decides that. I don't decide that.
The Hamas attacks on Israel show what else is now on the line. The Pentagon says it needs Congress to approve more money to help Israel and Ukraine simultaneously.
In terms of our capacity to expand production and then to also pay for the munitions themselves, we need additional support from Congress, so I hope we'll see that soon.
The first Speaker vote could happen as soon as Wednesday, with a lot more than leadership riding on the outcome. I'm Emily Schmidt, reporting.
Thank you, Emily. It has also been announced that the House is not ready to vote and is looking to do so soon in order to establish support for Ukraine and now Israel.
In an ironic turn of events, the Biden administration announced they waived 26 federal laws in South Texas to allow border wall construction. The Department of Homeland Security outlined the construction in Starr County, Texas. According to government data, about 245,000 illegal entries have been recorded in the region during the current fiscal year. The DHS decision contrasts the Biden administration's posturing when a proclamation to end the construction of January 20th, 2021 stated, quote, "Building a massive wall that spans the entire southern border is not a serious policy solution," end quote. In the city of Pittsburgh, we have some exciting news coming about RMU hockey's return. Stay tuned.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my third child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
Welcome back to RMU Live.
Life at IUP continues as the investigation into mass shooting develops. An off-campus shooting during Indiana University of Pennsylvania's homecoming weekend has shocked the tight-knit community. Some students are grappling with sadness and fear as the campus resumes its routine, with one or more gunmen still at large. The incident, which occurred about 5 minutes from campus, resulted in 1 death and injuries to 8 others, including 2 IUP students. Despite the tragic event, state police emphasized that it was targeted and unrelated to the college festivities, ensuring the community remains safe. Multiple law enforcement agencies are involved in the investigation, urging anyone with information to contact state police. On another tragic note, 5 teenagers are in custody after Pittsburgh area shooting. 5 teenagers are in custody following an early morning shooting in Ross Township. A dispute erupted on 6th Street in the Laurel Gardens neighborhood just after midnight. Police arrived, causing the teens to scatter, but all were eventually apprehended. 1 teen sustained a gunshot wound to the leg, but is expected to recover. The search for the other 4 involved officers from multiple departments and a police canine. Investigation is ongoing to discern the motive for the teens' presence in the area and the trigger for the altercation, revealing they are not from Ross Township.
Plastic bags are banned as of tomorrow. The city of Pittsburgh took a significant step in promoting sustainability by unanimously passing a plastic bag ban in April of 2022. Starting October 14th, 2023, all retail establishments within the city, including grocery stores, restaurants, and big box retailers, are prohibited from offering single-use plastic or non-recycled paper bags to customers during checkout or delivery, and paper bags may be provided for a fee of at least 10 cents each, with retailers retaining the fees collected. This move aims to reduce single-use plastics and foster a cleaner, more eco-friendly community. Autonomous truck program to begin in Pittsburgh. Former Argo AI founders, including CEO Byron Solansky, are reviving their autonomous vehicle efforts in Pittsburgh with a new company called Stack AV. And focusing on trucks this time. SoftBank has injected a $1 billion investment into the venture, which has already hired 150 employees and deployed a test truck fleet. While details about Stack AV are currently scarce, Solansky's background in computer science and experience at Carnegie Mellon's National Robotics Engineering Center suggest a strong foundation for their new venture.
Great news coming to vehicle owners in the U.S. A new tax credit is coming to make the transition to electric cars more affordable.
Driving off the lot in an electric car could soon get easier and cheaper. The Treasury Department is proposing a rule that would allow car buyers to get a tax credit of up to $7,500 for new electric vehicles and a credit of up to $4,000 for used EVs straight off the lot.
We're all in for EVs, and dealers are essential to making that transition a success.
Under the new rule, all eligible consumers, no matter their federal tax liability, would get a full tax discount up front and instantly from car dealers starting in 2024, instead of waiting for next year's tax season. Right now, that's not the case. Consumers whose tax liability is too low may get a reduced credit or not qualify at all. Energy experts say the move would benefit low and middle income drivers who may now have a chance to buy a car, but say more needs to be done to make EVs more accessible.
To make everyone benefit from electric cars, we will need more incentives, more infrastructure.
To be eligible for tax credits, buyers would have to meet the individual requirements, including using the purchased electric vehicle for personal use, not being dependent on anyone's taxes, and being under the income limit. It comes as the Biden administration aims to drive up electric car production in the U.S.
What do you think, Mr. President?
I like it. Back in August, the Energy Department announced $12 billion in grants and loans to ensure 2/3 of all new cars sold in the U.S. by 2032 are electric. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Thank you, Jen.
This past Saturday, both RMU hockey teams made their home debuts on Saturday. Both teams met with hundreds of fans from the Pittsburgh area and even got their respective red carpets. As for the games, the women's team won 6-1 at 2 p.m. start against St. Anselm, and the men's team fell just short at 7 p.m. 3-0 to Bowling Green Falcons. Although men's coach said after the game, quote, "Win or lose, we already won," end quote. All in all, the momentous occasion is one that students will look back on in a decade or two with fond memories and say, "I was there."
I am so happy that hockey is back.
Me too. And now Colby has sports to tell us what else the Colonials did this past week. What are we looking at here, Colby?
Thanks, guys. After 2 long years, RMU hockey made its return, and it was a great weekend on the island as the women's team took 2 of 2 against St. Anselm as they won the first game 6-1 and the second 6-4. The men's team split their series against Bowling Green as they fell 3-0 at home but won by the same score on the road. The football team fell to Gardner-Webb 31-16. Anthony Chicken went 43 for 26 with no touchdowns in the game. This now makes the Colonials losers 3 straight times versus the Runnin' Bulldogs. Heading up to the NAC, the men's soccer team drew 1-1 versus Wright State, and the women's soccer team drew 1-1 as well versus Oakland. The volleyball team fell twice last week, losing 3-0 both times to IUPUI and Purdue Fort Wayne. Moving on to Pittsburgh sports, last night the Penguins continued their horrible trend of choking games away, as with a 2-0 lead in the second period, they took their foot off the gas and fell to the Blackhawks as they let them back in the game with the final score of 4-2. Connor Bedard got his first career point in the game, and Crosby and Rust netted goals for the Pens. Staying on the ice, the Lightning took down the Preds in Tampa, and after raising their banner from a literal slot machine, the Vegas Golden Knights took down the Kraken 4-1. Heading over to the North Shore, the Steelers grounded the Ravens 17-10 after falling behind 10-3. The Steelers got back in the game with a safety and a field goal to get the lead. Kenny Pickett audibled out of a horribly called play by Matt Canada, probably, to go over the top to George Pickens to take the lead. TJ Watt took care of the rest of the business, and the Steelers somehow at 3-2 sit atop of the AFC North with the win over the Ravens. On the game-winning touchdown, the Ravens decided to run press coverage on George Pickens, which is an odd choice as Pickens typically runs his routes pretty well. That's all for me. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you, Colby, for the sports update.
A French invasion? No, it's not Napoleon, but these tiny intruders of bedbugs that are making their way to the United Kingdom.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride? Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back to Army Live.
I don't know about you, Nate, but I'm kind of hoping for some sunny weather.
I am too, and I'm hoping we can sure get some sun, and I'm sure our weather woman, Bethany, can tell us more. Bethany, what do you have for us?
Thank you, guys. Let's take a look at our hourly forecast. At 3 p.m., it's going to be 65 degrees, and at 6 p.m., it's going to drop down to 62 degrees, and at 9 p.m., it's going to drop all the way down to 58 degrees. And then our today's weather is going to be a high of 66 degrees with a low of 49. Humidity is going to be a 70% chance. And then chance of precipitation is going to be 15%. And our tomorrow's forecast is going to be a high of 68 degrees with a low of 56. Humidity is going to be 68%. And chance of precipitation is going to be 10%. And then let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Saturday, it's going to be raining with a high of 65 degrees with a low of 54. Sunday is going to rain again with a high of 55 degrees with a low of 47. Monday is going to be partially cloudy with a high of 53 and a low of 44. Tuesday is going to be raining again with a high of 53 degrees with a low of 46. And Wednesday is going to be raining once again with it being high at 56 degrees with a low of 45. Looks like this is going to be a pretty wet one for this week. So make sure you bring your umbrellas and your rain boots and sending it right back to the desk.
Thank you, Beth. Well, Casey, it looks like we are not going to be getting that summer weather.
No, sadly not. I'm already feeling the cold. It's going to fit spooky season, though. So if you are trick-or-treating, make sure to wear something warm.
The finance health minister says country not invaded by bed bugs and urges calm. France's health minister has reassured the public amidst a widespread rise in bed bugs in Paris. The National Institute for the Study and Control of Bed Bugs reported an increase in infestations, but they are treatable. The transport minister is conveying a meeting to strengthening measures against these blood-sucking insects. Paris's deputy mayor cautioned against hysteria, but acknowledged an uptick in residents seeking information on bed bugs. Despite the upcoming 2024 Olympics, officials remain unworried about the situation, emphasizing there's no reason for widespread panic among the French public. Israel-Hamas war causes spike in oil prices. Here's what it means for gas cost. Oil prices surged amid concerns that the Israel-Hamas conflict might engulf the oil-rich Gulf region, impacting global production. Brent oil, a global benchmark, increased by almost 5% in Monday's trading, particularly offsetting recent declines. These price hikes could extend to various products due to increased production and transportation costs. Impacting consumers, while inflation has decreased since last summer, it remains above typical levels by more than a percentage point. Rising oil prices could complicate the Federal Reserve's goal of curbing inflation while preventing a recession, referred to as a soft landing.
Liberians head to the polls in high-stakes elections and flaring tensions. Liberia is holding significant presidential and parliamentary elections, marking the first since the 2018 departure of a UN mission that maintained peace following a tumultuous history, including a 14-year civil war and health crisis like Ebola and COVID-19. Incumbent President George Weah seeks re-election despite a rocky first term marred by corruption and mismanagement allegations. Polls are open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. with results expected within 2 weeks. The winning presidential candidate needs over 50% of the votes. A runoff election will follow if no one achieves this threshold in the first round.
Coming up, we have you wanted to give yourself future advice lottery numbers or what to invest in? Stick around after the break to see and find out how.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I wouldn't. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's all good if you think you should check in. Yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hello and welcome back to RMU Live.
Would you like to have the harsh truth of reality and reminders of youth crushed down upon you in 5 years? Well, today's your lucky day because tonight at 7 until 8 p.m. in the Yorktown Lounge, Residence Life will be hosting students to write a letter to your future self. If you haven't written one before, it's a good way to set a goal for yourself down the line. It might be hard to think of something meaningful in just an hour, but you just have to put what you really feel. I can get the ball rolling if you like. Dear Casey, what's it like being rich and famous? If you are not rich and famous yet, please burn this message as I no longer care about what you are doing. Thank you. For any of you fantastic artists out there, tonight at 5 p.m. until 8 p.m., you should Van Gogh take a visit to Delta Phi Epsilon's pumpkin painting event. They will be selling mini pumpkins to paint for $3 per pumpkin. From that point on, the show is all yours to let your creative juices go wild on that big old fruit. Oh, but it gets even better. You might want to eat light beforehand because they'll also be holding a bake sale alongside the pumpkins. This is a surefire way to get into the fall spirit. This is all to raise money for Delta Phi Epsilon's sorority. Please paint responsibly.
If you love helping others through community service or just looking to repent for a minor crime, tomorrow there's a fantastic opportunity for you. From 8 until 9 a.m. at the Coriopolis Community Food Pantry, there will be a truck unloading for any and all to help out with. You would simply arrive to the food pantry and help unload the truck. You will need to provide transportation of your own. And if you are interested, please contact Randon Willard. And I know you may be hungry for breakfast, but please do not eat the food. Get McGriddles like the rest of us.
We got a fun story about a pumpkin breaking a world record here in the U.S.
I'm going to hit the switch right now.
This perfectly portly pumpkin is a record setter. It clocked in at 2,749 pounds at the 50th annual Half Moon Bay Pumpkin Weigh-Off in California, reportedly a new world record. It makes it the greatest gourd of all time, which is fitting considering its grower Travis Ginger of Minnesota dubbed it Michael Jordan. Well, it certainly dunked on the competition. Ginger and Pumpkin Michael Jordan snagged a cool $30,000 for being the best. Ginger is now a 3-time contest winner. He took home the top prize in 2022 and 2020. A prescription for cat? Say what, meow? Yes, you heard me correctly. Robin Sipe of Virginia recently lost a pet, and on a visit to Dr. Earl King, Robin opened up about her lost little one.
I was very, very sad. And Dr. King asked me why I was so sad. He was concerned about my overall well-being.
That's when Dr. King concocted a creative remedy. More cat.
I'd recommended that she proceed to get a new cat, and I actually wrote her a prescription.
And Robin did just as the doctor ordered. That same day, Robin met Erlene, a little kitty missing part of a paw, and just like that, they became best pals. The medicine Robin needed.
Oh, she makes me so happy. She makes me so happy.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
That is one big pumpkin. Thank you, Patrick.
And that's all we have for today. I'm Nate Kingston.
And I'm Casey Irwine. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next week.